Yeah, that's right.
Don't know how you do what you do. Well, now we do because we saw it in Nashville. Michael Britt.
Welcome back, guitar players and traders. It's John.
And Zach.
And this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it.
And we trade it.
At the top, make sure you're subscribed and stay subscribed. We're giving away a Gibson Custom Shop R7 Les Paul. We got to be flies on the wall for an amazing trip down to Nashville, Tennessee with the one and only Michael Britt, guitarist for multi-platinum, million album selling band Lone Star, and also Dr. Kemper, expert in all things Kemper Profiling amplifier. We were invited down because our close friend Bitautas of Pocket Groove Studios has a 1 of 70 Komet Constellation 30 amp.
I gotta say, the coolest part about this video is that all the tones that we got, you can buy in the link in the description down below.
And just a little disclaimer, this is not a video on how to profile an amplifier. If you want to see that, it's perfectly captured by Michael Britt over on his YouTube channel. There's a link to that down in the description. We're giving you more of a glimpse of talking and working with Mike, one of the nicest, most humble guys. Incredible stories from the industry, all his years of playing, selling millions of records with Lone Star, and just becoming, in this day and age, also recognized as Dr. Kemper, the expert on all things profiling when it comes to Kemper amps. So Zach, what do you say we turn it over and let the footage from that day speak?
Here we go.
All right, let's do it.
I can be clean and angry at the same time. Hey Mike, how are you?
And that's Zach.
Very nice to meet you. I'm John. Thanks for taking some time today.
Hey, I'm Zach. Nice to meet you. Sorry. Don't look into the light.
All right.
Steady up
Are
on
these speaker outs the same?
I believe so. You said it's a 16 ohm cab?
That is 8 ohm.
8 ohm. Oh, perfect.
I do not claim to be the be all end all, so this is just what.
So right over here.
Well, Richie, our lead singer, before our first lead singer, you know, he put that up because he was trying to be funny one day. So I came in, I saw that, and he was like, "Did you see your sign?" Yeah. So this is my secret weapon right here. These are the only things I trust for sound.
Okay.
Ultimate Ears UE7s. So I do all my profiling.
Okay.
And any kind of tweaking. I don't trust any speaker that I've ever heard, so these are the only things I truly trust. Kind of like a reference monitor, I just know what they're supposed to sound like, so I'll know whether it's got too much low end or not enough high end or whatever, based on these.
Okay.
And I can't ever get any speaker, even studio monitors, I struggle with. Now with canned music it's fine, but guitar by itself, I struggle, because there's always that point on the crossover that, the crossover in the side of the speaker says what goes to the low and what goes to the horn.
Yeah.
There's always a little dip there.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the frequency curve, you'll see it, where they cross over. There's crosstalk and phase cancellation and a little dip there.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the valve train speaker for my Kemper, because there's no high-end tweeter. There's nothing to deal with crossover-wise there. So tell me about the Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Okay.
What's the difference?
So I guess, they're not channels.
Okay.
So this one is kind of like a clean channel, and then that feeds into this, and then this is kind of almost like you would.
So they cascade together?
Yeah, so you'd like almost use it as a boost or distortion. But when you get, it's kind of in its sweet spot, but we can mess with it. I find that, personally, if I have humbuckers, it never gets clean.
I was about to say, does it have any clean in it? Or is it
Not
pretty much-
really.
Okay.
No,
So I may want to use a different guitar, because that's kind of my clean guitar, but I've got other guitars I can use for dirty stuff.
Yeah, so if you got single coils, it will kind of clean up if you back off the volume. And then once you get into the second volume, it's balls to the wall. It will sustain for about a year.
Oh, cool.
Bloom, and it's
Got the whole train wreck thing
that's
going?
definitely its style.
Nice.
So I'm sure you've played a few of those.
I don't think I've ever played a real train wreck, but I've played a couple really good clones.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll be interested
Awesome.
to hear what your opinion is.
I'll try this guitar, but I may end up switching guitars pretty
Okay.
quickly.
It's only left my studio once, so
Pretty cool reason to take it out.
yeah. To meet the doctor.
It's going to get really loud out there really quick.
Oh yeah, all the alien sounds are coming.
Oh yeah. And here they come.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Still a touch woofy. I can take a little bit of that out. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy.
That's great too.
Thank you. Yeah, this thing sounds good through almost anything. Sweet.
Helps if you know how to play guitar too.
Well, one of these days I'm going to learn. I'm tired of being a hack.
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank you. I tend to play the same licks over and over and over again. My wife gets so sick of hearing them. And I don't even know what I'm playing. I'm not even thinking about what I'm playing. It's just, I'm just playing something so I can hear what it's sounding like. So I kind of just go into auto mode and that kind of stuff.
I've heard all of your licks 1,000 times
And so,
because I listen to all your demos.
my wife is like, can you just learn some new licks, please? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm playing. Man, that sounds really good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, we haven't gotten.
Oh no, it's not even in gain.
I mean,
we're not even in gain yet.
yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, that's just a great spanky clean.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we still are on the first channel. We haven't even brought the second channel in. And
Now, when you click this button, what does it do?
that brings in the second volume.
Okay, so this is only using the first volume.
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't even need that notation for now. Okay. All right, well, let's do another one or two. I have books and books of these notations. It's kind of sick.
Just so that you can always recreate and just improve upon.
Every now and then I'll get somebody, hey, do you know what the blah 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 was set at? I'm like, I can look it up. But sometimes it's just for me. If I ever get another amp like this, I'll kind of know where my starting points were.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of hair on it.
That's just perfect because you dig in and it's breaking up just.
Yeah, and you play. You never know that had some hair on it. So with this definition control, right now it's on 3.5. If it ever gets too woofy, which it lives a little bit, if you can get that up to around 5, that should even it out.
Okay.
I'm not going to save it there. I'm going to keep it saved around kind of where it was.
Okay.
I like them to stay close to where they started. And then I can always edit it and save it as my own presets later. I love the attack on this amp. That's really fun to play.
I'm glad you approve it, man. Man, it sounds better than it's ever sounded.
Well, and sometimes the Kemper does that. It'll smooth out rough edges. So
That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, I've had amps that are just like, I don't even like them in real life, but once I get them profiled, like, oh, because this kind of adds a little compression and stuff. I like it a lot better in the Kemper than I do in real life.
And you're hearing a finished sound.
Yeah.
You know, because it could be a little harsh in the room with the
Absolutely, yeah.
Which I don't really want to.
Well, my Marshalls are that way. My 72 Marshall, it's great on profiles. In the room, it'll tear your head off. Yeah. Like, I almost can't stand to play in the room with it. It's just so angry and bright. But the ones in here, the ones I profile sound great. All right.
For your 72, you said?
Yeah.
I use that profile.
Yeah,
too.
I've got that 68 now, but I still prefer, for my lead sounds, I like that 72 better.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a little bit more pissed off.
Okay. That's a good way of describing it.
It was in the flood, and so Delon at Third Power rebuilt it after the flood. So it's got new output transformers, it's Mojo Tone stuff, so it's got nice stuff, but it's not really as vintage as it could be, but it was ruined, sort of, so I had to do something about it. She kept as much original stuff as she could, but like all the jacks needed to be replaced, a lot of the pots. It's basically a brand new 72 Marshall. But it sounds good. Still sounds.
But you had it before the flood?
Yeah.
Did you prefer pre-flood or after?
I almost preferred after, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I never knew what I was going to get before because it was just starting to get old parts and stuff. And so Some days I thought it sounded good, other days. Now it's really consistent. Every time I plug it in, it's just like, okay, yeah. I think it's just the age of the parts. Those capacitors and stuff just aren't made to last 40 years.
Yeah.
So the new ones sound really good. Sometimes with these boutique amps, like when I profile it, there's only a handful of things that it reads during profiling: definition, gain level, and the tube shape.
Okay.
Like Matchless, they always profile at really low definitions. Friedman amps and those kind of high gain amps, they always profile it like all the way dimed definitions. I always like it to sit somewhere between 4 and 6. That's my happy spot.
Okay.
This is running around 3.5, so I'm fine with this. But when it's like 0 or 1, I'm like, oh, it's just fighting me.
Yeah, stay away from the extremes. Try to get close to the middle.
Yeah, because that way you can adjust it and it doesn't just go to shit. Because if it's all the way down to 0 and you start turning up the definition, it just doesn't work right. You can't. It's like adding something that's not there. You just can't do it.
It's not really the amp anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it when you can just kind of finesse the EQ balance a little bit. Mm-hmm. But this is working. So, awesome. And I'm sure once we start getting into gain, it'll start profiling with the definition a little higher.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what happens.
And would you say the definition? That's the most.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if it's definition 10, I can work with it. I can just add more high end on here, like reduce that high cut, so that it offsets when I back the definition back. It still keeps enough high end because I've added it here. It's kind of like a little, not a trick, but you know.
It's like a seesaw.
Yeah,
you're trying to balance everything out.
It is.
Yeah.
So when I get to the 5 to 6 area on the definition, I love that because there's a good balance between highs and lows. Plus, it's got good mids. Yeah. If it's all the way up, it's kind of hard. You can't really add any more highs because it's already that much. And then if you start turning it down, it starts cranking up the low end. And so then it gets woofy. So I always try to find the happy spot.
Yeah. Because then it's balanced.
Yeah, to me. And I just like, most of my amp rigs that I use are between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And the definition. I don't know if I like them because they're there. There's some great vintage amps that I have that have lower definitions, and those sound fine too. Mainly for clean stuff.
Okay.
I don't like the gain stuff without high end on it. It just sounds dark and woolly.
Yeah.
Which some people love that. I mean, Eric Johnson's all dark and woolly. I profiled his 68 Plexi at his settings with a Butler Tube Driver in front of it, and it's so dark that I'm like, I mean, it really sounds like 4 blankets over everything, and maybe that's what he sounds like, but I suspect it sounds different through his cabs on stage than the Kemper.
And tones in your fingers too.
Yeah.
So.
I've never bonded with 412 cabs. I've had 3 or 4 Marshalls, and I only have one 412 cabinet now, but it's one of the early PV 5150s.
Okay.
Those speakers they have in the Sheffields are really good.
Yeah.
So that's the only 412 cab I've kept. And all the Marshalls, and I think I realized I don't like slant cabs. They do something with the tone. I was talking to Delana at Third Power forever ago about this, but so she had a 412 Marshall cab in her room, and then she had a 312 that the Third Power. And so we're playing through it, and she goes, just sit here and right in front of the 412 cab, and then move your head this much and this much, and it changes. And so she drew it on paper. It's because these speakers are lined up. So if you have all these, it's basically point source phase canceling.
Okay.
So if you move this way, you start hearing the cancellation of phases and stuff, or frequencies, and you can do that since they're all just lined up in a perfect grid. You get all this weird cancellation the more you move around. The Third Power, since it's like this, it kind of fills in all the blanks and it kind of just blurs all those phasey lines, so you can walk anywhere around the room and it sounds the same.
That's awesome.
So that was something I found out. And then when you add that slant thing, you're just adding a whole nother layer of where these frequencies are canceling and weird. So I just don't like I love the way they look. I just hate the way they sound. I get it if you're standing in front of it, some are hitting you sooner, but most, I don't know. Nobody ever hears a 412.
No.
I don't think. I think they hear one speaker and then everybody else hears this crap that I prefer 112s if I can.
I pretty much use a 112 all the time for recording.
So most of my amps just have a 112. Even my 68 Plexi, I sit on a 112 cab.
Yeah.
And it's just a very true signal. You don't have to worry about phase canceling or anything weird. And if you get a high enough wattage speaker like Classic EA, you're not breaking up. You're not getting speaker breakup.
Yeah.
So that's the trick, is getting a high watt speaker or high wattage speaker.
Yeah.
Unless you just like the sound of like G12H30s or greenbacks, I'm just not a fan. Vintage 30s I used for years till I discovered the Classic Lead 80. And the reason I found that is I had a Mesa Lone Star.
Okay.
And it was a 112 and like a hardwood cabinet, but it had a 90-watt Celestion in it. And I loved how I could be playing clean really loud and that low end would just stay tight like a piano. And I was like, I love this speaker, you know? So then I started I did some research, found out it was a Celestion 90-watt thing. So I was like, what's the next best thing? Because I couldn't find one of those. So I found a Classic Lead 80, so I got one. And ever since then I was like, oh, that sounds great. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So it just works for me. So basically I just kind of start just creeping up the volume until I get a different sound and then go there.
Everything I know about you, Pat, I feel like this is your holy grail tone.
I got this amp that I have some Dr. Z's and I have some Friedmans. And they all sound great until you hear this one, and then this one kind of blows them all.
Yeah, this really sounds really good. And I've wanted to profile one of these. Talk to, do you know Jeff King? He's a session guy, and he plays on the road for Brooks and Dunn and Reba and different people.
Okay.
But he's got a Komet amp, I know, and we've talked about maybe profiling that, but I never have gotten around to it. Got a matchless Phoenix I need to sell.
Oh yeah?
You're making me think I need to look for a Komet now.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment.
I like amps that are unique. Like I've profiled so many amps and they all start sounding the same.
Yeah.
This Chromatico to me is unique, and this is unique. You know, it doesn't sound like every other amp that you can get.
Yeah.
Do you know which Komet Mark Knopfler used to use? Is it this one?
I heard that. But I heard that he was playing Kemper for a while.
He is.
Too.
Well, he's on Kemper now. I saw him 2 years ago now. At Madison Square Garden in New York, and I got to go on stage right before he went on. I talked to his guitar tech, and they're all using Kemper on stage.
Really?
Both of the guitar players, and I think one of the keyboard players plays guitar on one song. So there's like 3 Kemper rigs on stage. Wow. And before he had a Kemper, I know he used to have his guitar tech change the settings between songs.
Really?
So yeah, instead of having it on a Kemper, he just basically changed all the settings. So for every song, he'd look on his little chart.
Wow, so that guitar tech was being put to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still sounds good.
All of them sound great.
It's really rich.
Isn't
like
it?
really quick attack. It's crisp on top, but it's got tons of beef. It's a nice amp.
Wait till you hear the second channel.
Holy moly. Oh my God, that sounds good.
When you're in the room with it too,
oh, I bet.
And it's like feeding back and sustain. I mean, it's bliss.
Yeah, see, right in the middle.
Right.
I could tell when I was doing it. I was like, this is gonna be good. This is really good. Oh yeah. It's like you can't even tell. Is it dirty or is it gainy?
I know.
I mean, is it clean or
all the clarity of all the notes still, but it's gainy and it's ballsy and
yeah, it's like a clean sound on steroids, but it's not. It's gainy, but it doesn't sound dirty. Oh, that's sweet. Holy moly. Number 8, that's a good one. Speaking of Mark Knopfler, there's a little Dire Straits thing. So I was a huge fan of Mark Knopfler for years. And I learned when I was a kid, I learned all the licks for Sultans of Swing. Mm-hmm. But that triplet bit at the end, I could never pick it right. Like, I knew the note. Whatever.
yeah,
But I couldn't figure out how he was picking it to make it sound right.
yeah.
And I know he uses no pick, but. So, I was always wanting to hit the high note with the upstroke.
Yeah.
But that's not right. He's hitting it down with his thumb.
Really? That's cool.
It's so weird though. It took me half a day yesterday to just go.
Yeah, you gotta train the brain.
And I'm still not that great on it. And then I realized it. Now, granted, Alex Lifeson does that, but you can use it for.
Oh yeah. Spirit radio.
It works for that pattern too, which is.
That's awesome.
So that's what I learned yesterday.
Nice.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. I can be clean and angry at the same time. That's fun. Holy moly, 9's good too, by the way.
Okay.
8 and 9. Holy
I
moly.
wasn't sure. The first 8 were.
Whew. If you have good tone and don't overplay, yeah.
Exactly.
I haven't learned not to overplay yet, though. That's my problem. It's a fire breather.
It's amazing everything you can get from pretty much 3 knobs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And no tone knobs.
Yeah.
I mean, the high cut's it, but
Yeah, but it's
there's no
pretty much
bass treble. Yeah.
dialed in, no matter what.
To me, it'd be like, I don't know, if you just have one amp with one good sound in it, I'm fine. Tweed Twin, great. This is great.
Yeah.
Literally any song you can play on this, it sounds right. How much more gain can this thing get? Oh my God. That's just silly. It's somehow smooth and pissed off at the same time.
Yeah. That's a good way of describing it.
Yeah.
Really.
Because it does have that just snarly attack, but then once you get in it, it's just
It mellows out.
butter. I can keep trying to turn it up. I don't know if it's going to do anything.
Do whatever you want to do, man. I'm just sitting here.
I'm going to try to do one more.
Okay.
It almost ran out of LED lights on the gain. It's a lot of gain.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I don't know what else I could do.
No, I think you got everything you could have got.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
I'm so glad you liked it. I haven't met anybody who hasn't liked it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad because you've heard everything. Now, have you played real Dumbles?
I've played one real Dumble.
And was it up to the hype? Or was it probably tuned for somebody specific?
It's probably tuned for somebody because they're all different.
Yeah.
The one I borrowed, it was Keith Urban's, and he got it from John Mayer, and then it went to Mark Tremonti after him. I don't know who's got it now. And honestly, I only had it for like about this amount of time, for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't know enough about them because there's lots of switches and stuff.
Yeah.
I was learning as I was going and trying to profile it. And I was doing something wrong the day I profiled it because I don't even know what. It was pretty early on in my profiling stuff. And then this steel string singer. Granted, I've never played a real steel string singer. There's only like 12 of them in the world.
John Mayer probably has one of those.
I'm sure he's got at least one.
Yeah.
Probably 2.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan had 2 at one point.
Really?
Man.
Thank you so much
Oh
for
my
letting us
God,
watch this.
Dude,
It was fun watching you work, man.
Yeah.
well.
I wouldn't trust anybody else with it.
Hey, this is Michael Britt from MBRITT Profiles and Lone Star, and I got to profile this amazing Constellation Komet, Constellation 30 by Komet, and hopefully these will be out soon, but just want to thank you guys for letting me do this, and see you next time.
All right, this has been an amazing look at profiling this Komet Constellation 30 with the one and only Michael Britt. Thank you so much for doing this. And this is our dear friend Pat Bitautas of Pocket Groove Studios. This is your baby, and we drove it down to Nashville to make this happen, and it did not disappoint. This is incredible. So if you've got a Kemper, check out the MBRITT packs. check out Lone Star. And thank you so much for making this happen.
Thank you.
This was such a cool thing.
Thank you.
For Playing Trade Guitars, I'm Zach, and I'm not Zach. For Playing Trade Guitars,
We had a long night.
I
forgot my name.
That's exactly right. Yeah, for Playing Trade Guitars, I'm John. That's Zach behind the camera. Make sure you're subscribed for more great guitar content. This has been an on-the-scene look, and we'll catch you for the next one. Thanks for being here. Take care.